And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, many Americans long suffering from Trump derangement syndrome are downright giddy. But yesterday's verdict is not a cure for their disease. In fact, the Trump campaign, I will argue tonight, is stronger than ever. After the verdict, the former president's campaign said it raised what is a massive record $34.8 million in just 6 hours. And by the way, that includes their site crashing. Meanwhile, one flash poll showing Donald Trump with a 6-point bump, and the former president himself is now more determined than ever to save our country from political lawfare. Watch this.
This is a case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone. And these are bad people. We weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. You saw what happened to some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were literally crucified. I don't mind being out there because I'm doing something for this country and I'm doing something for our Constitution. It's very important, far beyond me. And this can't be allowed to happen to other presidents. It should never be allowed to happen. And it all comes out of the White House. Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. He's the worst president in the history of our country, the most incompetent. He's the dumbest president we've ever had. He's the dumbest president, most incompetent president, and he's the most dishonest president we've ever had. And the only way they think they can win this election is by doing exactly what they're doing right now, win it in the courts because they can't win it at the ballot box. So we're going to show them that we're going to fight because I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to save our country and to save our Constitution. I don't mind.
Honored to do it for our country and our Constitution, and he's willing to do it. Donald Trump doesn't need this, but he's right. What happened yesterday was not justice. I said from day one, he cannot get a fair trial in New York. He didn't get a fair trial in New York. And Mar-a-Lago is not worth $18 million. This was a result of a reckless, dangerous, irresponsible show trial, shedding the Constitution, shedding the rule of law, all in an effort to weaponize our justice system. This is what a dual justice system looks like. But today, we heard a much different message from your current president, Joey, who praised America's justice system. Take a look.
The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed. Donald Trump was given every opportunity to defend himself. It was a state case, not a federal case, and it was heard by a jury of 12 citizens, 12 Americans, 12 people like you. It's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years, and it literally is the cornerstone of America, our justice system. The justice system should be respected.
What is reckless, dangerous, irresponsible is the weaponization of his Justice Department. And to allow this to happen, all the details we've been giving you and all our legal experts have been giving you over the many weeks that this trial has gone on. Donald Trump was tried on a novel legal theory by an ADA who, by the way, campaigned on his ability to get Trump. Really? You got to be kidding me. During a trial overseen by a partisan Biden-donating judge, convicted after just a few hours of deliberations by a jury of MSDNC fans, selected from a district that voted up to, 90% for Joe Biden? This is a headline from the very liberal New York Magazine. Quote, prosecutors got Trump, but they contorted the law. That article, written by fake news CNN, senior legal analyst, even a blind squirrel gets a nut, right? And he wrote, quote, the charges against Trump are obscure and nearly entirely unprecedented. Then he said, no state prosecutor in New York or Wyoming or anywhere has ever charged federal election laws as a direct or predicate state crime against anyone for anything. None, ever. Democratic prosecutors in the state of New York, city of New York, including a former top official, the third top official at Biden's own DOJ, along with this radical Democratic judge twisted the law into a pretzel in order to convict the leading Republican presidential candidate in the middle of an election. So you're not going to hear any complaints from Joe Biden or any other Democrat or their allies in the media mob tell Americans no one is above the law. Well, of course they're not going to. There are a notable few exceptions, including what, Biden himself? Really? Okay. Now, a special counsel recently declined to charge President Biden with mishandling classified documents. His 4 locations never got raided. His home never got raided, despite ample evidence of criminal misconduct over multiple decades. Well, they concluded, well, he's probably a nice old man, is going to come off nice to a jury, and he's just going to seem forgetful, so we're not going to prosecute him. Why didn't they raid his house? Why didn't they raid Hillary Clinton's house? The exact same allegations. You know, Donald Trump is currently awaiting a criminal trial for the mishandling of classified documents over a few months. Hillary Clinton also is above the law like Joe. In 2016, James Comey, the July 2016 press conference, you know, what did she do? She mishandled top secret classified documents on her servers, illicit private servers she never should have had. Infamously, Comey saying no reasonable prosecutor would ever prosecute, you know, Hillary Clinton during an election, according to Comey, right? But that's not all. After Hillary Clinton and the DNC were caught mislabeling payments for that dirty disinformation Russian dossier as a legal expense. Remember, it was funneled through a law firm that hired an op research firm that hired Christopher Steele. It led to a dirty Russian disinformation dossier that resulted in not one but 4 separate FISA warrants issued, 3 signed by James Comey himself. No criminal charges ever brought. Both Clinton, the DNC, they were allowed to settle that matter quietly with a simple fine for the FEC that said, in this case, had they been allowed to testify, no crime was committed, no violation was committed. And keep in mind, Trump was convicted of 34 felonies for allegedly mislabeling a payment to a lawyer as a legal expense. But we can right this ship. You have the power. The ultimate verdict lies with you. Donald Trump can finish what he started in 2016. That's when Trump destroyed Hillary Clinton at the ballot box. Now, today, she's still deeply unhappy and bitter. Instead of serving as the president of this country, Hillary now is selling mugs on Instagram. In 2016, the U.S. justice system never held her accountable. The American people did. And this year, you have an opportunity to render the final verdict at the ballot box. That's the only verdict that will ultimately matter. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.